the October 23rd meeting of the Columbia Rotary Club. We're going to go ahead and get started with Rusty DePass and Jim Smithwick, and we're going to sing our national anthem. Eventually, because Rusty's doing double duty today.
Forgive our sins and give us your spirit to walk in your perfect will. Help us remember that you can and will give us all our needs. You are our all-powerful, holy, and heavenly Father. Open our hearts in forgiveness and love to others and in love as you have forgiven and loved us. Help us remember your mercy and grace when the road is hard, and praise you in good times and bad. Bless the food we're receiving, the hands that prepared it, and us to utter service. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amen. All right, if everybody will look at the cart bucket, somebody hold up your cart bucket on your table. Let's make sure we dig deep. Put some change in those cart buckets for us. And I think we're going to go ahead and welcome visiting Rotarians and guests. I'm looking for Tom Jackson, who's coming in here. One of my favorite people, always smiling. We all love Tom, and he has decided to be a greeter today. So come on up here, Tom. Do you want to come up?
No.
You don't want to come up and talk?
No, go ahead.
All right, so we have Michael Otis is visiting from Columbia East. Michael, where are you? Oh, there he is. Welcome, we're glad to have you. And now, if you've got a guest here, if you'll please stand. Oh, let me go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and start. My guest right here is Shelley Woodward. If you'll please stand. This is Shelley Woodward, and she is with Inland Home Mortgage.
Hi, I'm Stephen Creech. I'm happy to have Hunter Gordy with me today. Hunter is the Vice President of National Accounts for Nephron Pharmaceuticals and was a big help in getting this presentation together for us today. So, welcome, Hunter.
Good afternoon, Vance, Eaton, and I'm really proud to have today as my guest two of my classmates from the Virginia Military Institute who are in town today, Patrick Gregory and Dave Jennings. Patrick is a small business owner in Richmond. He actually used to lead a team in a medical device company. And Dave is an Army major and is responsible for the training and operations of about 1,000 soldiers at Fort Bragg.
Hello, I'm Jim Morris, and I have my guest, Brent Arant. He's spent the last 5 years as the assistant solicitor in Richland and Tommy.
we're glad to have you here visiting with us today. All right. So I want to talk about bell ringing really quickly. We're coming into the holidays, and I've been on Facebook begging people to take my slots for that I'm responsible for. But Libby tells me that we have filled all of the days with captains, and so the captains are now looking for volunteers to fill those spots. You don't just have to ring one time. You can ring multiple times. It's 2 hours. It's a lot of fun. You don't just have to ring once. So I encourage you, help out a couple of friends. Take a couple of shifts. I have 2 children that still ring the bell with me, and they of course don't ring together because they'll fight the whole time and try to claw each other's eyes out. So I ring 2 different times, and so all of us captains are looking. So if you are looking to share some holiday spirit, we will take 2 hours of your time very, very easily. So you can either contact Libby. I think the information is on the website, right, Mike? And so if you're looking for a specific day, then you can see who the captain is. And of course, if you just reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with the right people. Rusty, we're gonna go ahead with health and happiness. Looks like you got quite a bit of stuff there, and Rusty's just doing a whole lot for us today. We sure do appreciate you. Rusty, pass.
Thank you, President Carey. I can assure you I'm not going to use all this stuff, but how many people have not had a flu shot yet? Be honest, how many people? Okay, we need to do that. That's the beginning of my health and happiness. You better get a flu shot. Dot Ryle, is she here? She's recovering from a knee replacement and had difficulty taking pain medications, and consequently was very uncomfortable for quite a while, and maybe still is. So keep Dot in your thoughts. Smitty Harrison is in Fort Myers, Florida today, doing something about wind damage, and so there ought to be plenty of that down there. I tried to find Bill Rogers to see how he was getting along, and couldn't get an answer, so I hope that means that he's out gallivanting somewhere. Gail Averett, the rumor was that Gail and Peg were going to move to Stillhopes because he gave up his office out at the Colonial Building and moved his office to a place that they had at Stillhopes. But he goes out there and works out in the gym, and Gail is not very talkative these days, but he enjoys people, and physically he's fine, and sends his best. Murray Price. Murray Price said he was 96 and a half years old, still lives at home. He has quit ushering every Sunday at St. Stephen's Lutheran Church in Lexington because he said he's just a little slower now than he used to be. But a great guy, and by the way, a real hero in the annals of the Second World War. And he sends his best to you. Now, Catherine Davis had a birthday yesterday, and I want everybody to guess how old she is, and you can't go over 31. So anyway, but happy birthday to Catherine. On a sad note, Lee Lumpkin's mother-in-law, I think her name is Josephine, but Josephine Lumpkin died last night, and that will be in the paper later in the week, I'm sure. Since it's football season, and I confess I am a big fan of college football, I thought I would go back over, I'm sure you've heard some of these, but I just think they're wonderful. That John Heisman once said, "Gentlemen, it is better to have died a small boy than to fumble the football." Eric Russell, who was the coach at Georgia Southern, said, at Georgia Southern, we don't cheat. That costs money, and we don't have it. Frank Leahy at Notre Dame said, a school without football is in danger of deteriorating into a medieval study hall. Bob Devaney at Nebraska said, I don't expect to win enough games to be put on NCAA probation. I just want to win enough to warrant an investigation. Alex Karras, who I'm sure we all remember, said, I never graduated from Iowa, but I was only there for 2 terms, Truman's and Eisenhower's. Shug Jordan at Auburn said, always remember, Goliath was a 40-point favorite over David. Newt Rockney once said, I found that prayers work best when you have big players. Let's see, Ole Miss's coach said about one of his players, he doesn't know the meaning of the word fear. In fact, I just saw his grades, and he doesn't know the meaning of lots of words. Some few cosmic questions. Why do they use sterilized needles for death by lethal injection? Why doesn't Tarzan have a beard? Why does Superman stop bullets with his chest but ducks when you throw a revolver at him? Why do kamikaze pilots wear helmets? And whose idea was it to put an S in the word list? Yeah, sorry about that. I thought y'all would like those. By the way, the statistics on sanity say that 1 out of every 4 persons is suffering from some sort of mental illness. So think of your 3 best friends, and if they're okay, then it's you. Now, I want to tell you that affection, now you got to bear with me on this. Affection comes in many forms. This is a love story. I will seek and find you. I shall take you to bed and have my way with you. I will make you ache, shake, and sweat until you moan and groan. I will make you beg for mercy, beg for me to stop. I will exhaust you to the point that you will be relieved when I'm finished with you. And when I'm finished, you will be weak for days. All my love, signed, The Flu. So stop thinking about sex and go get your flu shot. I forgot to mention this. John Backus, I'll remember people's names eventually, but John Backus brought this up. Fred Crawford sent it to us. This is a Rotary Club of Columbia Directory from 1947-48. If anybody would like to see it.
I'm so glad you were talking about the flu. And in everybody's faces, that was just, if I could have taken a picture from up here, that was fantastic. We've got some new members to welcome into our club today, so I'm going to go ahead and ask Past President Hal Stevenson to go ahead and come up here, and we'll get started with that.
Thank you, President Kerry. The old-timers in here would tell you that this is kind of a comedic operation when you get up here as past president and introduce people. Not because it's funny, but because we usually don't know what we're talking about. Lester Bates used to mispronounce everybody's name on purpose, and it was hilarious. So I'm filling in for Michael. I guess we're moving this around, so I'm one of the new guinea pigs for doing this. So our new members would come up with their sponsors. I'll introduce you to the club. your name, just step out and sweat a little bit while I try to muddle through this. Okay, first is Dr. Craig Witherspoon. Kush Tata is his sponsor. He is married to Monique. They live at 104 Preserve Lane in Columbia. He is the current superintendent of Richland County School District 1. Please pray for him. He has previous Rotary service in Birmingham from 2010 to 15, Birmingham Rotary. He has degrees from George Washington University, Old Dominion, Master of Science there. He has been an education practitioner for over 29 years as a teacher, school administrator, district level administrator, and superintendent for 10 years in rural, suburban, and urban environments. He has worked in 4 states and 5 districts. Hope he will settle down here. Has implemented programs including International Baccalaureate, language immersion, and one-to-one laptop programs. He has worked to improve graduation rates and decrease dropout rates and increase opportunities for students. He has been previously recognized as a top 10 tech-savvy superintendent. Well, you're going to find a home in here, I can tell you. There are a lot of tech-savvy people. So. And also a regional superintendent of the year. His community work includes K-12 education co-chair of the 2017 United Way of the Midlands Fund campaign, and a volunteer and guest speaker at various community and faith-based organizations in the area. You can hook up with Rusty and bring your saxophone, because he is a saxophone player, it's one of his hobbies. Might be nice to get a rendition of that one day, so somebody pull the sleeve. Watching movies when time permits, and spending time with his family, which is, he has one son, Cameron, along with his wife, Monique. And Dr. Witherspoon, we're very grateful to have you here and look forward to your time among us both here in town and the community and in our Rotary Club. Y'all welcome. And there's your pen. All right, Dr. Lindsay Forrest Ott. Lindsay, if you'll step forward. Lindsay is not married, lives at 136 Castle Road in Columbia. I got to interview her this morning, not being Michael Kahn. I'm doing things last minute. I know that surprises a lot of you. She has 4 degrees from USC. English, anthropology. She has a master's in teaching and a doctorate in education administration. So we've had 2 educators, really highly decorated. So any of you people that want to, learn something, sit with them next week. She is a pilot. She and her father is a pilot, Rick Ott, who many of you may know with MBCon, has helped build the convention center and many other things. And as Kay said, was involved in many education initiatives around the state over the years. But she is an active in Women in Aviation International, which tries to get young women involved in flying. So any of you young women, Catherine, okay? You're just the right age for it, I think. She attends First Pres with her mother, Sharon, and she's not had any previous Rotary service, but I think we're going to be all blessed by you being here, Lindsay. Welcome. Okay, so y'all take it easy on me on this one. Andy Shane is here. He didn't know he was going to be here today. He was in Washington. And when you come from Washington, you never know if you're going to be able to get away from it. But he was able to make it back. He is I asked him about how to do this. He is the Columbia Bureau Chief for Charleston Post and Courier. Now, where else within the newspaper business do they talk about bureaus? And when he said that, I knew exactly what he was talking about. He's responsible for any mistakes they make in the news and reporting around here. So there might be another bureau that comes after you sometime if you're not careful. But he is from outside Philadelphia. He graduated from a university called, it was Media, Pennsylvania. Media, Pennsylvania. So he was just destined to do that. But he went to Northwestern University. He met his wife, Christy, who was from Conway, When he came down to work, he has lots of experience. He worked with the Sun News for 8 years. He worked with the Charlotte Observer for 11 years, and 9 years at the state. These were all McClatchy, or at least became McClatchy. Once he left the state, he went to work for a year here for the Free-Times specifically until they asked him to go full-time for the Post and Courier. And he says about himself, Philly bred, so he's a Yankee, he's admitting it. Philly bred, but Southern cured, and he says that handles and covers a lot of things. He eats a lot of barley. Okay, he is serving actually with me on the USC Journalism Professional Advisory Board. I had to actually ask him what the name of it was that we were serving on, because this is a new board, but it's good. He's also volunteering some and perhaps going on the board for the South Carolina Center for Fathers and Families. Has a big heart for that. He helped a backpack program for his daughter, Anna Grace, who's at Cardinal Newman, and been very, very active in that. And so, Andy, welcome to Columbia Rotary Club. So if y'all wouldn't mind turning around and facing me. This is where I get to give you your charge, which I don't know what that means, but we love being in Rotary. Rotary is a community organization over 100 years old here. And Andy was funding me a little bit about Sertoma and some other things. He said he's a little brain dead, but this is the premier service club in Columbia, and we are the biggest club in Columbia. And we're here because we want to serve. Because I've got the podium and nobody else seems to think about it as much as I do, what I would ask you to do is memorize the four-way test. Because if everybody would actually get up thinking about this every day, they would make lots better decisions and our community would be a better place. But Rotary is all over the world. As you know, you've been here a few times, you've been hearing some things and probably read up on it. We pride ourselves here as being, if you will, leaders and executives in the community. We like to get people like Lou to come and help us to see and understand the community so we can be more knowledgeable in how we can help and deal with the community. There is some business done, but it's low-key, but it's okay. We will introduce people and come up and tell what they do and what their business is. But it's not a place where really, particularly here, to exchange business cards or anything. We want to learn, meet people. It's one of the remaining institutions that I think you get to get face-to-face with people. So take advantage of that, sit at different tables, get to know people. We will have a fireside chat soon. That is basically past presidents coming together and giving you more detailed information. One of the most important things to learn is to pay your bills, or you'll get a call from somebody. But it's one of the things we've also prided ourselves on. We'll ask you to write a check, we won't ask you to sell a broom or a peanut log, so you don't have to worry about this in this club, even though they come from other clubs to try to sell it to us, which is fine, you know, so if you feel generous. Things like the cart bucket and other things in small ways when you get these clubs working in their communities, but then also working together, you can do big things. So we welcome you to Rotary. We're proud to have you guys. Y'all are a very distinguished class compared to your colleagues out here, but we'll all welcome you in. All right, thank you very much. Welcome to Rotary.
And I'm going to add to that, get involved in some form or fashion on a committee with this club. When I first joined, I was working at Free Times, and I joined this club because nobody would answer my phone calls, and I figured if I joined this club and I was in Columbia Rotary, that people would actually answer my phone calls. That was before the Post and Courier days, and we weren't as celebrated as they are now, right? And so Hal got his claws in me and decided that we needed a new website and we needed social media and we needed all this stuff. And I was this young girl and I was in this, in this club. And he said, well, you're the one that's going to do it. And I did it for, I guess, 6 years. I did it until I, put it over on Mike there, who just couldn't say no, right? He just couldn't say no to me. So get involved in something. Don't just, fly in here at 12:28 and expect to get anything out of this club. You will get out of this club what you put into this club, and I encourage all of y'all to get involved and ring the bell a lot this holiday season. I expect to see all of you ringing the bell. So welcome. We're really glad to have you here. And we're going to go ahead and move on with our program, and I'm going to call Beth Irick up here to introduce our speaker.
Thank you, President Carey. It is my pleasure to introduce to you all today our speaker, Lou Kennedy. She's a homegrown girl from Irma. I thought she was from Irma, but she's from Irma and Lexington, so both Richland and Lexington counties. But I have the privilege of introducing Lou to most of you. I know a lot of you already know her, but she is the president and the chief executive officer and owner of Nephron Pharmaceutical Corporation. She joined Nephron Pharmaceuticals in 2001 and accepted the position of President and Chief Executive Officer in September of 2007. Having held a variety of marketing and operational roles during her career, one notable achievement at Nephron was creating a national sales force. This is a rarity in pharmaceutical industries. In the years following that, she helped Nephron Pharmaceuticals grow by 300% and increased shipped product to 1 billion doses each of the last 7 years. That's quite a bit of pharmaceuticals. Nephron recently built a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in West Columbia. Ms. Kennedy was at the forefront of this expansion, which opened in June of 2014. Lou is always seeking to enhance and grow her business. She started a 503B outsourcing division of Nephron in 2016. Production for that division began in January 2017 and is rapidly increasing. Along with her husband, Bill, Lou helped establish the Kennedy Pharmaceutical Innovation Center in conjunction with the USC School of Pharmacy. She serves on a variety of business and civic boards, including, but not limited to, the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce, the National Bank of South Carolina Board, a division of Synovus, Columbia College Board of Trustees, South Carolina Manufacturers Alliance, as well as the USC Athletic Department Board. Lou and Bill Kennedy were named Ambassadors of the Year by the Greater Columbia Chamber of Commerce in 2013. They also received the Lexington County Ambassador for Economic Development Award 2014. A graduate of the University of South Carolina College of Journalism with a Bachelor's of Art degree, Lou never shies from the opportunity to cheer on the University of South Carolina Gamecocks. Here's Lou Kennedy.
I'm a drug dealer and my nickname is Cockadoodle-Loo. So, and then I realized I'm wearing all Gamecock colors today. So for my Clemson friends in the room, I apologize if this is a little bit offensive. Okay. All right. So I thought what might be easiest is to tell you a little bit about our business, and then I'll talk to you about some things that several of us in the community are working on just to make Columbia and both counties and either side of the river a better place. But let's start with what is Nephron Pharmaceuticals Corporation. And if I can get Hunter, did you hear about those sales, how they're growing, Hunter? And now that you've been introduced as VP of National Accounts, get on it, you know? So I want to show you a short video of our company.
Pharmaceuticals Corporation. Nephron is proud to be a private, woman-owned business. We are leading the industry in manufacturing sterile, preservative-free respiratory inhalation solutions, utilizing blow-fill seal technology. Nephron's South Carolina facility is equipped with state-of-the-art technology, which allows for completely automated manufacturing, packaging, and distribution. Each product manufactured at Nephron is enclosed in a plastic vial container. We utilize pharmaceutical-grade resin, which is delivered to the facility by rail car and vacuumed into silos. When the resin is transferred to the BFS line for manufacturing, it is melted and formed into a plastic container. Our raw materials are received from FDA-approved suppliers located all around the world. When active pharmaceutical ingredients are received at the plant, they are placed in quarantine and remain there until each container is sampled, tested, and released by the Quality Assurance Department. Once the API is released, it is ready to be used for formulating products. Currently, all of our products are solution-based and contain 98% water. In our water pretreatment room, city water goes through many stages of purification, including deionization and reverse osmosis. The result is water considered sterile enough to be injected directly into the human body. The clean room environment is vital to the manufacturing process. Given that humans are the main source of contamination, only certified personnel may enter a clean room wearing sterile particle-free gowns. Blow, fill, seal technology is a specialized process where containers are formed, filled with sterile product, and sealed in one uninterrupted sequence of operations within a controlled sterile environment. This aseptic filling process eliminates human intervention with products and enhances production efficiency. Each BFS machine can produce 29,000 vials per hour. As each vial moves down the conveyor, the vials undergo 100% leak detection using a state-of-the-art vacuum decay process. The vials are loaded onto trays and are transported to secondary packaging. Samples are pulled from each batch and taken to our in-house chemistry and microbiology laboratories to check product quality and ensure quality control. Laser-guided vehicles are used for Nephron's automated warehouse induction and retrieval system. LGVs operate off laser sensory and transport pallets of vials to a pre-programmed packaging line. Nephron's automated packaging system individually wraps and barcodes all vials of medications and places them into cartons for shipment to end users. The low bay warehouse has the capacity to store 4,400 pallets of either production components and or finished products. Once the necessary testing is complete, the product is released and is ready to be distributed. Nephron has long-standing relationships with major drug wholesalers who distribute our products, as well as pharmacies, hospitals, and long-term care facilities. We also have a dedicated sales force that covers all 50 states and Puerto Rico. Nephron has distributed over 1 billion doses of respiratory medication over the last 5 years.
I hope that shows you a little bit about what we do. It's not like pills and capsules. It's very, very complicated, our procedures, and it's all automated. So humans formulate the drugs and humans load the trucks, but in between, everything else is automated. So it's very advanced automated manufacturing, and I'm sure you journalism folks are wondering, what in the heck are you doing at a pharmaceutical company? But I guess you can learn anything, right? So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about our timeline. And so we announced that we were coming to South Carolina in October of 2011. We never intended to shut the Florida facility down and move everything here. But once we opened the facility, we realized that our automation plans were so robust that we could make those same billion doses a year with only with 200 or 250 less people. And so you might say, well, what's that? How's that helping job creation? Well, the good news is, and we'll cover this on another slide, but our average wage at Nephron is over $70K because we do have so many advanced either scientists, chemists, engineers, and others, and we're very proud of that fact, especially that's much higher than the median for the state or for that area. So just to let you know, we promised the state in 10 years that we'd get to 700 jobs, and or a little over 700 jobs, and we'd spend 313, I think it said. We've already outpaced that very quickly. We've spent about 350 million and started a new division. And Hunter, if you'll flip the slide. We have a lot of people to thank for that, but I think we're at about 580 employees right now. So why did we pick, go back one, please? Okay, this is the difference between Clemson and Carolina. I'm just gonna have to say it. All right. It's a running joke, please don't be offended. Okay, so one of the great reasons that we are here is we looked at 4 different sites during our choosing process, and it became early on Lexington County was going to be the right one for us. And for the next slide, you'll see it's because it's fed by rail. The interesting part is my father was transferred here when I was 2 with Eastman Kodak or Chemical Company, which is a stone's throw away from our plant now. And the spur that we are connected to was put in just for Eastman Kodak. So it's pretty neat that, and I say this a lot of times, not many girls get to grow up and do similar things to their father, and my dad would come home late with boiler, chiller problems, and I get to do those same things today. So anyway, we're fed by rail at the back of the building, and even that's automated, okay? We were very pleased that we employed about 500 construction workers during our build out. And while we were excited about that is we spent as much money as we could. I believe it was at least $50–60 million on local contractors. And my neighbor down the street, Amazon, chose to go to Atlanta and Charlotte and so forth, and we really made a concentrated effort to keep it at home. And we were in the building in 2 years and 10 weeks, and they told me it would take 3 to 5 years. So I'm very proud of that because, you know, you're not open, you're not making any money, it's just a big financial drain. And I will tell you that it took the FDA such a long time to get us open and approved. We lost about $2 million a month just keeping the doors open and training efforts. So over 18 months, it was really, really difficult. Okay, keep going, Hunter. Please. Yeah, we love our location. We're right where 77 and 26 comes together, so we can get to our facility from either I-26 or 77. We love that. We erased the star from Florida because we are no longer in Florida. We're headquartered here in my home, and I'm very proud of that. We have a distribution facility that's quite large in Murray, Kentucky, and then also a smaller one in Phoenix, Arizona. We do have a great workforce. I'm very pleased to tell you that we hire a lot of different disciplines, and we are still hiring right now. We're looking for some sterile pharmacy techs, more PharmDs. We have, I think, now about 12 or 15 PharmDs on our staff, so we're really looking for quite a few positions. If you know anybody in your friends or family circle that are looking, please look at our website. We love the workforce here. You hear so many folks complain about workforce development in this state. We love it. In Florida, we really struggle because most folks go there for a restaurant, tourism, that kind of thing. So to get a chemist or a microbiologist was very, very difficult. Here, we're just overrun with great engineers, great chemists, all sorts of, and all the schools across. I mean, we have Newberry, Erskine, I mean, Coastal. We really do. We really benefit from the great education. We're also LEED certified. We are at LEED Green now, but I'm 2 points away from LEED Silver, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a point for Anita Zucker is putting in a solar farm right behind SCANA, which we'll be connected to, so that might give me my next 2 points. I'm hopeful. All right. This is a picture from the sky. If you fly into the Columbia Airport, this is one of the flight patterns. They dip right over us every day, so you may have seen us from the air, but we are growing, and as you mentioned earlier, that we started a new division of the company that in January that has exploded. Now let me tell you real quickly, and then I'll take some questions. There's a group of business leaders here in Columbia called the Midlands Business Leadership Group. We decided to get behind the competitiveness report. So the 4th annual competitiveness report comes out this January, but last January we said, so we have this competitiveness report that ranks us against Charleston, the upstate, and also other capital cities that are similar in nature and size like Raleigh, Richmond, so forth. So we really got the results and we said, well, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to move the needle, if you will, on making this place more innovative, more talent retention, livability? And so I was asked to chair the livability committee, and we really worked, I mean, with a lot, including Hal and others. We had probably 50 or 60, I would say, in our group for livability of leaders around the city, both from Richland and Lexington County, trying to do whatever we can to make this place great. And I think I'm probably a little bit of the catalyst for that, because we had only about 30 people wanting to transfer from Florida to here. And a lot of the times we hear the spouses, well, what do you do in Columbia? What's there to do? We're in Orlando, we have Mickey Mouse, we have all these things. And so I started really taking the time to study all the great things, and I was just amazed at how many things, even though I grew up here, that I didn't know about. So we're trying to work together, and if you hear about this group, we'll have an announcement, I think, coming out this next month, talking about the things the initiatives that we've adopted since January in all of our working groups. So stay tuned for a little more information on how you might get involved. We uncovered a lot, and there's a lot more to be released, I would say. Now, I'm happy to take any questions about the business, about anything that we're doing or that I'm involved in. Anybody? Yes?
Your facilities are very progressive,
Yes.
not just the robotics and all, but the look, the image of them. Can you think back about the process of how you got from nothing to something that looks like that?
Okay, so my husband thinks that you should get a C in every category because it's cheaper. So that would be looks, quality, anything, okay? And I am absolutely the opposite. I'm extremely competitive, and I like an A+. So I actually took architects and engineers to some of my favorite facilities in Europe because I wanted this to be a facility that no matter where in the globe you come from, you would look at this and go, I want my drugs made there. And I believe that that's how the inspectors view us as well. So FDA actually recommends that other trainers or inspectors in this district come to us for training and automation. And that was really what I was trying to do. I wanted our facility to be as much a part of our brand and that automation. So we copied a lot of things from our friends in Europe, and all of our equipment is made, it's sad, we have one robot, some of you know this, that's made in America. Everything else we buy is from Europe, and either Swiss or German. The worst piece of equipment in the building was made in Minnesota. And I've told them that I say that on my tour. Like, we gotta step it up, God bless America, you know, let's do it. And we really need to encourage the engineers and others in upcoming leaders and so forth. We've fallen behind. The equipment is superior, the automated equipment, I find anyway, from Switzerland, Germany. Any other? Yes.
Lou, first, thanks for everything you've done in coming back and all the support you give the community and everything you've invested.
Thanks.
So my question is, what's been the most pleasant surprise with coming home? And then what's been the most difficult thing that is, kind of, you didn't think you'd encounter that you had?
Okay, so the most pleasant thing is all those years of saying, I'm just gonna live everywhere else but Columbia, South Carolina. I'm not coming home. I will not come home. I am so happy to be back. I love it. I mean, I never realized how much I love this city till I got involved in so many different things, and that's why I appreciate what the Rotary Club here is doing. It really makes you feel connected, and hopefully we'll make this a better place for our children. So that's the pleasant surprise. And I would say the most challenging is, here we are in a state that's known for manufacturing, and I first thought that I would hire folks with great resumes that are around my age. What I found is that I'm almost better at getting the younger folks and training them very carefully in what we do, because while we're a manufacturing state, the level of specificity and difficulty with sterile drug making is up here. And I couldn't break some of the bad habits that maybe it's okay for this kind of manufacturing, but certainly not for sterile. People just, oh, he's my buddy, I'll override. No, you have to have the form that is appropriate, or we throw the things away. So that was my most difficult challenge in the beginning, is realizing I was almost better getting people either younger that had no preconceived notion, or someone from a different industry that we could teach them about sterile drug manufacturing. That was it. Mm-hmm.
Do you make your own pharmaceuticals, or do you package pharmaceuticals made by
Well, are you asking that because of my bad accent, or you really want to?
I'm curious, some things that lead me to believe both.
Okay, I'll tell you. I get this question a lot. I have a journalism degree, so what the heck do I know about science? I am Southern and I'm blonde, no offense, but these usually don't go in my favor, and I'm almost always in a room full of men. But we absolutely make everything from scratch. We are formulating our own products. We develop our own products. We have a very robust R&D team, and I say that not to develop products to cure things, but R&D in the sense that we're filing new generics. We have right now, we're making probably 50 products at Nephron, and it's we can get a drug pretty much in 6 to 8 weeks out the door, and that's test method development, formulation development, all of that. We do everything in-house, all our own testing, everything. It's a soup to nuts operation, and it's very involved. And anybody that wants to take a tour, I'm happy to host you. I love to give tours, and we are very proud of what we do, and we have such great folks at Nephron. Yes. You made me sing earlier. That was scary for the group.
So I could play with that. The traffic situation between your company and Amazon on that road, the 12th Street extension, has really caused a problem, at least in my view. And I wondered if you have anything going on with the highway department or anybody else
Okay.
to kind of solve that problem.
Yes.
It's a good
So
problem.
the first year was that we came in, they started, I think, a year and a half before us, and then construction and so forth. It was a disaster. It was one way in and one way, well, you can enter from either interstate, but it was, they actually, one Amazon employee hit a cop that was out directing traffic and gave him a concussion, and luckily he was okay. It was a disaster. Fortunately, Lexington County swooped in and got the permitting done, and we were able now to have 2 lanes in and 2 lanes out. And we have traffic cops. I also chose to make our shift change be at 30 minutes different from theirs, so that we wouldn't have a problem that way. So now it's a beautiful thing. Even in the holidays when they swell to 5,000 employees, we're doing just fine. Yes, Jim.
What percentage of your drugs are generic and what percent are brand name? And do you have any thoughts on something in the drug world, the opioid crisis?
Yes, I've got, that was a lot. I love it. Okay, everything we make now is either generic, considered a device, or over the counter. I have a new drug for an ophthalmic product in the pipeline, but it won't come out in probably 2018. So, and we have also our 503, so there's 503B, what does that mean? It's sterile compounded products for things on drug shortage. And so those are all, and a lot of them are in a separate class. Like, for example, we make sodium bicarbonate. We're one of 2 places in this country to get it. You might need 6 or 8 syringes full during any given surgery. So we really have been very proud to solve the drug shortage crisis on that particular product here in the U.S. The opioid crisis, it is beyond awful. There are a lot of things that we can do and that folks are doing, and we really, any chance we get, need to all be involved and see how we can help, because it's absolutely, when you hear the numbers and how many folks we're losing to this problem is staggering. And I'm talking about, I've got a friend here in town that, because of issues with her own son, she and her husband have started a place called the Courage Center, and we all need to support things like this, because we really, it's, when they say it takes a village, I think it takes all of us to solve it. It's a terrible crisis. Jimmy.
I heard a rumor that when you first started your sales career that you had a real estate license and that your broker was very responsible for all the success.
Oh, sure, that's right. Yes, I did work for Mr. Jimmy Derrick over here at Bob Cates, and that was in between, I think, husband 1 and 2. And it all turned out okay, Jimmy. I got to the right husband by number 3, and my sales career kind of took off about the same time. So you had to have something to do with that.
I think it was the multiple marriages that he helped you kind of.
I'm telling you, I have a PhD in psychology, there's no question. I heard what you said, I'm going to choose to ignore that. Anything else, because I think our time is drawing closer.
We got time for one more.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
Food is medicine. Obesity is a leading cause in South Carolina. Are you working on some?
I wish.
Medicine?
I wish I was working on something to get a little slimmer.
Or is it education?
We don't have any products. I take that back. We actually we were approached by a physician who has health clinics, if you will, that focus on various different things like hormone replacement, weight loss, all kinds of things. And we were approached by him to do that product. We've looked at it. I don't know. It's kind of more of a nutraceutical item than a pharmaceutical item. So we haven't really decided if we want to move forward with that. But while I see Scott back in the back corner, one of the things that we've been really privileged is all of the directors of pharmacy in the surrounding hospitals have been really good to help Nephron. I bring them in and I say, okay, tell me what you need for me to make to solve these drug shortages. So one of the products that finally I got the equipment validated that we want to make is cardioplegia, and the perfusionists and other surgeons and so forth at Providence really helped us, and we worked together to develop it so we can make it just exactly in the size that they need. And I can tell you that's another beautiful thing about South Carolina. We all work together. We're all on the same committees, and I've had nothing but great success with, okay, tell me what you think about this product or not. And so we've had a lot of goodwill, I would say, around that. But back to your obesity question, I don't have anything we're working on, but it is a problem, and it certainly is a problem in the Southeast, particularly even in this state. I was talking with a gentleman on the way to work today, and I think it's like 1 in 4 folks are on Medicaid, and a lot of that obesity, food stamps, Medicaid, and those paths cross in a lot of ways. So I think that's the right number for South Carolina. It was 1 in 5 in Florida on Medicaid.
Lou,
Yes.
I would like you to speak just a minute. You got a couple of minutes to go. You're okay?
Okay,
but,
ready, set, go.
I see Henry Baskin in the room, who's with the State Chamber, but formerly with the Community Relations Council. But you have this tremendous passion that we are one community, Richland and Lexington County all together. Can you talk about that just for a second?
Okay, so in full disclosure, I went to Lexington 1 and Lexington 5 to school, Carolina, but I pay taxes right now in both Richland and Lexington County, so I think it's okay for me to say I grew up being known as a river rat. I did drive a truck with 4 in the floor in high school, and I'm proud of that. I'm just as proud of that as I am anything else about my upbringing. And I think we have done some really cool things, like the airport, like the convention center, and others that show that we can work together across both sides of the river, but there are more that we could do. And I applaud both sides of the river. I was fortunate enough to go to the bridge dinner. We were one of the sponsors last night. If you've never been able to attend the bridge dinner, I encourage you to do it next year. It really is the best of this community, where we raised money, we helped the first responders, we helped with some of the river efforts and other things. It's what we know how to do, and I just think we could celebrate it a whole lot more and talk about it. I know I sound like Pollyanna, but I really believe some things really do happen when we speak them into existence, and I think we have so much going for us, and I want to celebrate and support that however our company, and I can do that personally.
I'm a 2016 graduate of Leadership Lexington, and one of the greatest days that we had was visiting the Nephron plant. We got to go there and spend about half a day with you, and we got to tour the facility. It looks like a spa when you walk in. It is one of the most beautiful facilities, and it's kind of a shame that it's just tucked back there and nobody gets to see a lot of it.
I don't know, we want to kind of stay tucked away from all these, as he calls it, bureaucracy. I kind of like for it to be hard to find.
But it is a beautiful facility. We're very lucky to have it. And I do have to say that Lou gave one of the best tours that I went on in that class. And she did it in a pair of stilettos,
Always.
Like a boss. So good for you.
I did not learn that from Jimmy Garrett.
Okay, well that's good. Stephen, do you want to go ahead and tell us who's going to be here next week?
Yes, next week we're having Dr. Tim Hardy. He is the System President of the South Carolina Technical College System, so please come and bring a guest.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and end for today. Thanks for coming. Have a great week.
Not for me.